Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to bring you an update on developments related to the COVID-19 situation this evening. And this information will primarily deal with what has been announced in Alberta, and this is for my constituents. So the Premier of Alberta, Jason Kenney, as well as our top health official in Alberta, has announced some changes to what is open in the province. I'm just looking here, and forgive me for reading some of this. I just want to make sure that I'm getting the information correct. Schools have been closed in Alberta. This includes post-secondary institutions as well as daycares and day homes. Seniors' homes also have new visitor restrictions. The specific details on this announcement can be found at the Government of Alberta's website. I've also posted a link at the top of this video if you're looking for information. I'm trying to, on my website, round up all of the information sites so that you can get the most up-to-date information there. I encourage you to look at that link. Many of you have been contacting my office, and what we're trying to do is every question that comes into the office, we're trying to post that on that site with the link to information from relevant authorities so that you're getting it directly from health authorities, any information that you might need. So again, the Premier has announced that schools are closed. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is a concern that Premier Kenney raised in his news conference, but that I've also been raising over the weekend, and that is with reports about a serious lack of screening in major international airports. Many of you have seen on social media, and the Premier did raise this as well. I actually had a family member arrive from Japan into the Vancouver airport and said that he wasn't reminded to self-quarantine, he wasn't given a temperature check. He obviously is on his own volition, his 14-day quarantine, but these are very concerning issues, and certainly look, if I understand that the executive branch of government right now is making a lot of big decisions, but if anyone's watching this across party lines, please, you guys have to get a control on this situation. I've seen pictures in custom lines where people are crammed together like sardines after coming back from international travel. That is not social distancing. I would just, as a legislator and as your colleague and representing 120,000 people in Calgary, in the interest of public safety, Mark Garneau, Patty Hajdu, Bill Blair, Justin Trudeau, you have to do something to put space in between people. I don't know what it is. You must have public health experts who are telling you what needs to be done in those airports, but certainly putting a bunch of people together with no screening in a customs area makes no sense when we're all being asked to socially distance. So I know that my party, our Shadow Minister for Health, Matt Jeaneroux, has also been calling on the government to deal with this weekend. We put out a fairly robust statement with that regard, and I know that I just want to let you guys know that rest assured that we're doing what we can to put pressure on the government to do this. It's my understanding that the government is having a rare weekend cabinet meeting to discuss what the next steps are. As soon as we get details on that, I'll certainly be disseminating that information to you. Last week, I believe it was on Friday, the federal finance minister, and Justin Trudeau said that they would have details forthcoming on Monday with regard to direct support for Canadian businesses and individuals who are being affected. And I just want to let you know, I hear and I understand loud and clear that these closures, what we're being asked to do to ensure that the virus doesn't spread further and compromise those who are most vulnerable, is having a significant economic impact, and it's impacting many of you directly. So we are asking the government for support. We will be scrutinizing whatever the government puts forward and holding them to account and making sure that you're getting that information. And as that information becomes available, it's my intent and my staff's intent to be providing that to you whatever way possible, be it webinars, emails, we will be working hard to get that out to you. And for my constituents, if you're having questions about how to apply for things or looking for information, don't hesitate to contact my office. We're working around the clock trying to answer your emails, your phone calls, and we're also looking for ways to interact with you directly, but virtually, given the situation that we're in. I also just want to say, look, I'm very impressed by how many Canadians have just taken it upon themselves to socially distance, to self-isolate. I think that speaks volumes about the intelligence and depth of understanding of our nation. Many people are just saying, look, we understand that there are a limited amount of resources for people who could be severely compromised by this virus. I want to thank you for doing that. I've also seen, stories, people saying, well, I'm 21 years old, it's not going to affect me. The reality is that we know that asymptomatic people, people who might not be affected by the virus in a same way as somebody who is older and more compromised, we know that that's where the disease is spreading. So it becomes incumbent upon each of us to take the advice of social distancing very seriously. So please do whatever you can to do your part to ensure that we're protecting those most vulnerable in our community. And thank you to all of you. I've had many people write into the office, call the office, offering to help seniors and people who are compromised. Thank you for all of you who are just loving each other and helping our community as best that we can. I just want to repeat some of the information that Premier Kenney and our health officials stated with regard to why the decision to close schools came today, and that's because they saw evidence over the weekend of community transmission of the virus in Alberta for the first time. So prior to the announcement today, they had been making decisions based on information that the spread was only happening by people who had traveled from an area where there was known transmission. But over the weekend, there was 17 new cases that they announced today, and there was evidence of community spread. So that's why this situation has changed. Again, you can get this information on my website at the link above. Please contact my office. Please continue to email me, and I'm going to continue to work hard, as are all of my Conservative colleagues, to ensure that the federal government is responding to this situation appropriately. We are calling on them. We have been for a much stronger approach than they have taken to date. But again, if you have questions on travel, I want to repeat some of the information that I put out on Friday. The federal government has advised any Canadians who are abroad to come home, especially if you are overseas, out of concern that commercial flights will be canceled in short order, and we certainly are starting to see that happen very quickly. So we're working together, as we're putting pressure on the government and working across party lines where possible, but we are addressing this situation both from the health perspective and from the economic perspective. I will stay in touch with you. We are working hard. My staff is working very hard, virtually to get information out to you as quickly as possible, so don't hesitate to contact us. Working hard for you. Have a great evening.